Hey guys, it is Sarah, and welcome back to another week of English 121. I have posted a number of different pictures of myself because it occurred to me this week that it is week 7. We are halfway through, my friends. Or very close to it, out of our 15-week course. So I posted a screenshot from each one of the videos that I've posted to you guys so far. And one of the things that was cracking me up was the difference between this smiley happy face and here's me today. This is me today in a video that I recorded earlier. And what it reminded me of was when you see those White House pictures and you see how they've aged in the White House. So you'll see, President Obama, President George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton, and George Bush Sr. and Ronald Reagan, and you see these guys and you look at how much older they are after they've been in office. And it just kind of cracks me up. So, yeah, boy, what a difference a couple of months makes, right? So that aside, one of the things that I'm super excited about this week is that you guys are getting ready to do your final versions of your rhetorical analysis essays. I've decided to do a screencast today instead of doing my usual video because I wanted to show you guys a bunch of different stuff, a bunch of different resources that I've uploaded, and give you a sense of how we're going to use those this week. So here I am on our home page. I'm going to go to Content and click on Lesson 4 for Module 2. This is the last lesson of the semester, and here, actually, I'm going to make one quick adjustment. Sorry, I forgot to do this first. I'm going to view it as a student so that it looks a little bit more like what you want to see. Okay, cool. So here we are in Module 2, Lesson 4. I've got a list of tasks that you guys are going to be doing this week. And I'm just going to give you a quick run through in this screencast video. So first off, the first thing I want you to do as we speak, I'm recording this on Friday, March 2nd. And on Sunday, you guys have a peer review due. A peer response or a peer review, depending on how you want to think about it. And so what I'd like you to do first off is just to read through your classmates' peer review of your draft. And that should be posted on the discussion board in response to your original draft post. So read through that review, and I'd like you to reply to them. Let them know, politically, diplomatically, professionally, considerately, let them know what was effective or ineffective in their review. And as part of that, if you want to critique the style of review that I've asked you guys to do, please feel free to do that there. I'm going to be reading through those. And I will get updated on grades for the discussion board, by the way. I think I'm a few weeks behind at this point, and I apologize for that. So I'll get updated on those in this week. So that's first off, find your peer review, read it, think about it, and let your reviewer know how helpful it was or not helpful. And then I want you guys to enter into sort of a draft workshop space. So I'm going to give you guys in this screencast video a brief overview of the resources that I've uploaded for use this week as you do revisions on your rhetorical analysis essay. The first one is this piece right here. This is a drafts workshop that I do with students in face-to-face classes for any kind of academic writing that we're working on. So I really like this picture to start out with. I like this picture because we often get really intimidated by the writing process, I think, and by revisions, and it just feels like, everything feels really dramatic or really boring. I like this room. I like this room so much because I think in this room, people really know how to craft things. I think based on this row of shoes up here, I think this is a really amazing old shoe shop. And somebody here, I think they're called cobblers, somebody here, maybe a group of people, make shoes. And So writing doesn't have to be any different from any other craft. Writing can just be about coming in and just, tinkering away at stuff, figuring out what works and what doesn't. I think the review process should reflect that attitude. You just kind of dig in and you just try to figure out what works and try to make the best final product that you can. The best pair of shoes, or the best paper airplane, or the best car, or the best paper. So you can just scroll down, and then you'll see that there are different categories that I ask you guys to go through. The first one is about paragraphs, and I talk about how to build strong, cohesive paragraphs, and it gives you a little bit of definition of what I'm talking about. Each one of these sections gives you a space to work on it. There's transitions. There's a bunch of different things for you guys to work on there. So I want you to go through the drafts workshop. And inside that workshop, I refer to a handout that if you take a look on here, it says, oops, somehow I ended all the way up at Module 2, Lesson 1. So if you take a look at Module 2, Lesson 4, our current module, sorry, I keep messing around with stuff. There's a handout here called Transitional Devices, Attribution Phrases, MLA Citation, and there's a works cited piece to that too. So you'll download this, and I'm just going to show you guys. Take a look at it here. All right. So I've got a number of different transitional devices for you guys to take a look at and to experiment with. So you can, use words like finally, or as I've noted, however, nevertheless, equally important, further or furthermore, for example, to demonstrate, to illustrate, summing up, or accordingly, right? You can use some of these transitional phrases, and it helps you guide your reader through the logical flow of idea to idea to idea. And that's part of what I talk about in that drafts workshop. Another thing that I talk about in that drafts workshop is attributional phrases or signal phrases. So if you are looking at a commercial, for instance, and that's what you're analyzing, you could say something like, as shown in, the Nike commercial, and then you start talking about it. Attributional phrases are just a way to attribute to their source the information that you integrate into your paper. And then down here, I've got an example of what a works cited page looks like, because that's one of the things that you should be considering and that you should be including in any paper that you write for an academic audience. You have to include references. So cool. I want you to go through this drafts workshop. And in there somewhere, depending on whether you want to do this before you go through the drafts workshop or whether or not you want to do it after, I want you to do your primary discussion board post. And that discussion board post, if I can get up to the discussions, is all about revision of academic essays, and more specifically about how do you deal with this problem of writing for academic audiences. And it's not necessarily a problem, but you could think about it as a challenge. So for your primary post, as I talk about right here, I want you to, think about what are the things that we associate with effective academic writing. And then I have a series of questions. You could respond to all of them. You could pick one or two and write about those. Or if your brain wants to go somewhere else entirely, that's okay too. So for your primary post, due by Wednesday, just, record your thoughts. What are the things that you associate with academic writing, good and bad? And then for your secondary post this week, I just want you to respond to 2 other people. So this is something that I want you to be thinking about as you're doing your revisions. How are you responding to the challenge of writing for an academic audience? And just to kind of help you be thinking about that, that's why I designed the discussion board around those questions this week. Cool. So I'm going to go back to that content tab, and we'll take a look at some of the other things that I want us to focus on this week. So we talked about the drafts workshop. We talked about the handout that goes with that. I also uploaded a few other resources, And these are other things that are strategies that people use when they're thinking about revising their writing for um, flow and for, you know, the ability to express complex ideas in complex sentences. So I've got some, a bunch of different resources around those kinds of things. The first two up here are a two-part series of YouTube videos. And none of these, by the way, is a really long resource. I think each of those videos is only a few minutes long. So each of those videos talks about how to combine sentences. And there are, as the guy says in there, I don't remember his name, but he says, there's only 4 different sentence types in the English language. And so he goes through those 4 different sentence types and then talks about, like, how do we combine sentences together into cool new structures that might help you increase the flow and readability of your writing. Next, I've got the top 100 words from the GRE. That's the Graduate Record Examination. This is kind of like the SAT for grad school. And so there's a whole bunch of different vocabulary to work with there. I'm just going to click on this video, or click on this webpage really quick. So as you can see, it lists the word in alphabetical order. It's got a definition for each word. And if you come over here, you can actually play the audio for each term, so you can tell how to pronounce it. There's also a number of different other things that will help you, a number of different little techniques up here. So, for instance, here's a test, and you would type the answer, what is fearless, and then you would give the definition for that. The saving of property from loss, you would give the definition of that. So there's like little quizzes, there's flashcards, there's a bunch of different ways for you guys to work on increasing the complexity of your vocabulary, which I know was on a number of people's lists as far as writing goals this semester. So, so that's an option for working on, and I did hope that you guys would include at least 2 words that you were unfamiliar with at the start of this unit by the end of the unit in your rhetorical analysis. So that might be a good place to find those 2 words. And then finally, there's a resource, a page from the Purdue Online Writing Lab, the fabulous Purdue Online Writing Lab, where they go over much of the same stuff that I talk about in my drafts workshop, but they do it in a slightly different way. And so I definitely recommend going through both of those and figuring out like which one really sticks with you, which one is more effective for you. And then once you've gone through all this stuff and you really dig into your writing, I think you guys are going to do a fantastic job on this rhetorical analysis. If you get stuck at any point, as always, get in touch. I will be updating your grades for the discussion board. Sorry I got behind. And yeah, just get in touch if you need anything. If you've got any questions, if you want to talk about your grade, I'm open for all of that. It's the midterm, so I know everybody gets a little nervous around this time when it comes to due dates and that kind of stuff. So, just get in touch. And yeah, I really look forward to reading what you guys do. Academic writing is a pain in the butt, but it's a useful pain in the butt. Yeah, I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about it. I'll be weighing in on the discussion board as the week continues. So good luck, happy writing, and I look forward to seeing what you guys do. Have a great week.